Study strategies. These study strategies are for CA Foundation students. Have a weekly timetable. It should be weekly. It should not be daily or monthly. Why? Week is a time period on which we can make assessments. So on every Sunday we can assess what we have done during Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. So you make it weekly. Weekly timetable, and the week is repeating. Every week we can repeat the same thing. So we get a habit of working for Monday to Saturday and assessing our performance in Sunday. So weekly timetable, you prepare weekly timetable. And in CA Foundation, there are 4 papers, but there are 8 subjects. Accountancy, business laws, business correspondence and reporting, mathematics, logical reasoning, statistics, business economics, and business and commercial knowledge. There are 8 subjects. So you write 8 one by one, and then how much time you are going to invest in a week, you identify, you decide it in advance before every week. Then you write the time you want to invest in each of these 8 subjects. Then on Monday, how much time you invest in it. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Whether you achieve your target in the week is to be checked, and this is a checking process. And on Sunday we can analyze whether we have to increase the timing or whether we have to allot the timing in a different manner, to change more time on one paper and less time on other paper. So this is how we can arrange our timings for the next week after assessing our timings for the current week. So this is study strategy number 1, have a weekly timetable. Now, the second strategy is understanding the concepts and application of concepts. There is a formula called the DIKW. And what is DIKW? This D stands for data. I stands for information. K stands for knowledge, and W for wisdom. So what is D? D is raw data. Data is available. Plenty of data is available in textbooks and Google and other information centers. So a lot of data is available. So what should we do? We have to process the data. Process the data, and we convert the data into information, so that we can comprehend it. Then the information, you change it into knowledge. Your knowledge in these 8 subjects. So a lot of information is available. There is information explosion. Now, in this information age, we have to identify which information is useful for you to pass CA Foundation, and that is knowledge for you. And you have to collect that knowledge, and that knowledge part increases your ability to score marks in the examination. So if you have information about something else, it's not going to help you score marks, and the knowledge helps you to score marks in the examinations. Now, knowledge is what? It is understanding the concepts. You have to move a little deeper, and you have to identify what is the concept. get conceptual clarity. And understanding the conceptual clarity is actually knowledge. It will be tested in the examinations. Then there is another part that is called wisdom. Wisdom is in applying the concepts. You apply the concept in a practical situation, and that is wisdom. And that wisdom part is checked in examination hall by practical problems. They ask you practical problems. They check your application skills. And once you reach that level, you will be able to score high marks in each subject. So this is DAKW, and for some papers, the knowledge level will be checked only, and for some paper, the application of the concepts will be checked. For example, in accountancy, the major paper in CA, your application skills will be checked even at the foundation level. And for some papers like business correspondence and reporting, they may check your knowledge and they may check some of your application skills, writing skills. But in certain papers like what we call BCK, that is business and commercial knowledge, and they check only the knowledge, whether you are aware of it. There is no application skills in business and commercial knowledge, so you don't have to worry about it at the foundation level. Now, what is demanding by the examiner? It should be very clear whether it is the knowledge level or a mixture of knowledge and wisdom, or that there is application, or whether it is mainly on application. That is to be checked by you with by analyzing the previous question papers. That is necessary for while studying, and that is study strategy number 2. The third one, set weekly goals and stay away from distractions. So you set goals for each week. What should be achieved in the week is to be decided on Sunday, and set weekly goals. And when you find some distractions keep you away from your weekly goals. When you identify distractions, it can be a YouTube video, it can be some other relationship problems, it can be anything, it can be anything. Any type of emotional distractions may come in between the journey, which we were not able to expect on Sunday. But you should keep away from the distractions. And how is it possible? For that, you have to achieve the stage of emotional mastery, master over your emotions. When you are involved on unnecessary emotional trauma, you cannot perform. And to perform, you have to master your emotions and stay away from distractions and achieve the emotional mastery and achieve the weekly goals in every week. That is the third study strategy. Then the next one is, the fourth one is how your own handwritten revision notes. You can purchase notes, no doubt. If you have money, you can purchase notes from any teacher, or you can buy enough books if you have enough money. But you have to prepare handwritten revision notes, your own handwritten revision notes. Why? This volume of the syllabus is very, very vast. So you may not be able to read everything during the last month. But if you have your own handwritten revision notes, you will be able to remember the main points in the examination hall by revising your own handwritten revision notes. Why I suggest handwritten revision notes instead of typewritten notes? Why? Because handwritten notes give you some kind of familiarity with the notes. You will be attached to that notes emotionally when you write it with a pen and on a paper, because you are going to write this examination on paper. So paper 1 and paper 2, it is a written examination. You are going to write it, and even paper 3 and 4, you have to write the solutions. You have to work out the solutions by writing it on the question paper or the extra sheets provided to identify which one is the correct among the multiple choice questions. So you have this pen and paper in the examination hall, and if you have handwritten revision notes, it will be connected with your study room when you sit in the examination room. So you feel like you have done it earlier and you feel very comfortable. But when you do it on a computer, when you prepare notes on PDF files or in PPT, you may not have that feeling in the examination hall. So I suggest you to have your own handwritten revision notes. Be smart on your calculator. So a 12-digit calculator, a normal calculator with 2 memory is allowed in the examination hall. So in CA Foundation, a calculator is allowed. So once it is allowed in your examination hall, you have to identify that, you have to make advantage of it. So you should be familiar with your calculator. You have to use the same calculator which you use in the study room and the examination hall. It is not buying a new calculator for the examination. Then you may not be familiar with that calculator. Use the same calculator for enough time so that you are very comfortable with the functions of each keys. And if you are smart on your calculator, you can help a lot of time in the examination hall, and that will help you to give enough time to complete your examination. So be smart on your calculator, study what is memory plus, what is memory minus, how will you calculate, and all the keys also, so that you arrive at the answers very quickly. Sixth one is the mandatory breaks. They say that you have to take a break after 30 minutes or 40 minutes after learning, but I suggest you to take breaks after 3 hours or 2 hours, because our examination is paper 1 and paper 2 is 3 hours, and paper 3 and paper 4 is 2 hours. So you have to sit 3 hours continuously in the examination hall. And if you are familiar with taking a break after 30 minutes or 40 minutes in the examination hall, you may lose concentration after 30 minutes or 40 minutes. So I suggest you to make it as a pattern of 3 hours or 2 hours study period in a day, so that you get accustomed with the examination hall timings. So take mandatory breaks after that. You don't have to sit for 4 hours continuously or 3 hours for paper 3 and 4. So paper 3 and 4 you take 2 hours break, and paper 1 and 2 you take 3 hours break. That will be useful for you in the examination hall. The seventh one is number of revisions. How many revisions you have to do? Usually teachers suggest for 3 revisions, but I suggest you to 5 revisions. How can you make 5 revisions on a topic? Divide the topic like in A, B and C. A is the most important topics which are more relevant for the examinations. So you expect questions from the A category, and you find out which are the areas on which you can expect questions in the examination hall, and mark it as A, and then you revise this A five times. And the next important, the priority number second, you categorize it as B, and then you do revision, 3 revisions for category B, and the least expected questions or the questions you just want to skip, or you just take only if other choices are not available, or the alternative choices are available in the examination paper, you expect such questions, and then you put it in Z, and that C you need only 1 revision. So instead of revising 3 times the entire syllabus, you have to make it prioritize. That is, which area you want to revise 3 times or 5 times or 1 time, and making ABC analysis. And ABC analysis, it will help you to score higher marks in the examination hall. The 8th point is model test paper. So when you study continuously and you study the theory part and you observe the illustrations and then you study continuously, your own skill to work on problems may not develop. It will come only when you write answers to questions in your own handwriting. Model test papers are the best way to evaluate yourself. So students are afraid of test papers normally, but I suggest you to conduct model test paper, and you don't have to show the marks to anyone, you don't have to disclose the marks to anyone, but identify which are the strong areas and which are the weak areas. There is nothing harm in failing in a model test paper. You will at least realize that you are not strong in a particular area before the examination, and you get enough time to correct it. And so don't worry about the model test paper marks, but model test paper marks are meant for self-evaluation and for time management. There is another advantage of having model test papers. It is you are familiar with the question pattern, and when you take a test paper based on the previous year question paper marking arrangement, you get familiarized with the question papers. How will you answer 3 hours in a question when you get the question paper in the actual examination atmosphere? So you create a mock examination atmosphere and write model test papers in your study room, and it will help you to self-evaluate your performance before the actual examination. So don't scare about the marks you get and the panic you get when you write the model test paper. It's natural that you have to fail many times before reaching success, and the number of failures should be in your study room, not in the examination hall. That is wisdom. So do it like that. Presentation techniques are important for paper 1 and paper 2. Even though you know the answer very well, you get full marks, or you get 90% marks or 80% marks to a question only if your presentation is beautiful. So the presentation structure, where to start and where to end, and what should be what should be written in the middle of the story, you have to be very much aware of it. Which points are to be included, which points are not to be included, it should be decided before starting your presentation. And how to make your answer beautiful is to be decided in advance. And this presentation techniques, you should have a strategy for making a presentation for 10-mark questions, 15-mark questions, 5-mark questions, and 2-mark questions. So in the study room you get enough time, but in the examination hall you have time constraints, so you don't get that much time to write. So you have to complete it within the allotted time, then only you can complete all the questions. So you have to decide what should be my presentation structure for short answer type questions, what should be my presentation structure for problem questions, what should be my format for answering questions. So you have to identify the presentation, and you have to create your own formats to present the answers, so that you get complete marks if you know the answers. So the presentation techniques are to be developed before the examination in your study room. You should have a strategy for presentation in paper 1 and paper 2. And paper 3 and 4, there is no need for presentation because it is multiple choice questions. So you don't have to worry about the presentation. But in paper 1 and paper 2, especially in law paper, you should have a clear idea of how to get full marks in giving answers to the law paper. So that you have to develop a method in which you can score high marks in law questions. Then the last point is the 10th point. It is last month action. The last month is the examination month. So you get only 30 days for the examination. The last rings are on. Then what should you do? There should be a clear to-do list and not to-do list in the last month. And when you start study, you should mentally prepare for the last month. And you should decide in advance, these are the things I am going to do in the last month, and these are the things I did not do in the last month. So because the last month is the crucial month, and whatever you do in the last month after making preparations for many months, then will be reflected in the answer sheets directly. So take that last month very seriously. Even though you have done very well in the previous months, you have to take extra care in the last month, because it is just before the examination. It is just before the final play. Then the last month actions are to be decided very well, and you should have a to-do list and also a not to-do list, and things you avoid in the last month, and you should be very clear about it. Don't indulge in certain activities in the last month. You know what is to be done and what is not to be done in the last month. So you decide, these are my hobbies, I postpone it for the examination, and last month I am not doing all these things because it is examination time. And you take that sacrifice. Such sacrifices are necessary for the examination, and your performance in the examination is crucial for you throughout your career. So there is no chance for improving your marks in CA Foundation. So you get only one chance to score marks, and if it is more than 70%, you get a distinction and pass CA Foundation with the distinction in the first attempt. My name is CBKC. I'm a chartered accountant. I'm inspired to help CA students, and my WhatsApp number is 974-560-8596, or you can call me 755-986-9990. There's a learning app for students, and you can download the learning app CIBY'S learning app from Google Play.